Good morning, guys. This is Sandra Sims. I'm coming on a few minutes early. I'm going to try and allow for you guys to come into the room, as well as I have a guest that's going to be joining me, so trying to allow for him to join me and make it easy for everyone involved. So good morning, and I am going to be having Rod Penalosa come on soon, so I'm going to give him a minute to see if he can figure out. Rod, you'll just simply need to request to come on the screen with me, and I can add you in. So, good morning. Hope you guys are all having a good morning. It's beautiful, as always, morning for all of us that we get to enjoy. And let's see, looks like Rod's coming in the room now. So, good morning, Rod. Hopefully you can see me okay. And then just go ahead and ask to join, and I'll bring you on in. Okay? And again, it's a few minutes early, just coming on to kind of make sure we get set up for the show coming in just a few minutes on Coaching Club Cafe, House of Glamwork. And hi, John. Good morning. How are you? Good morning. I know. How are you, sir? Always good to see you here with me. Waiting for my guest, Rod. He's going to come on the camera with me in just a minute. Okay, so make yourself comfortable, John, while we wait. I just came on a few minutes early to get Rod all settled in with us this morning. We have a really good topic, so I'm excited to have him. And how are you this morning? John, will I check in on you? How are you? All right, let's see. Hi, Linda. Good morning. Hi, guys. Good morning. Welcome to my show this morning. Good to see you all here. I enjoy being here. So we're going to make some space for a host this morning, Rod Penalosa. So I'm going to ask him to come on the camera with me and see if he can figure that out. All right. So hey, Linda, happy Mother's Day to you. And I'll be sure to do a little piece on Mother's Day for all of us. And just during the show at some point, just to enjoy. Thank you, Linda. You're so kind. I appreciate your kind words this morning. And how are you this morning? How's your weekend? Quiet weekend? Busy weekend? What you got going on? Let me know. John, you're not running any marathons this weekend, so you're doing fine. Lots of rain. Yeah, it's funny here. It's early, obviously. It's 9 here, and I know it's later where you are. But it's definitely a little overcast right now. I'm hoping the sun comes out a little bit later here in California. All right, let's see, Rod. Should be a little symbol where it's got a picture of like a little photo screen and a person right next to it. You should be able to just push that. Good morning, Rod. To request to come in. Let me see here. Let me see. Let's see if I can do this. All right. Hi, Karen. Good morning. Congratulations on your win, it looks like. And Rod, I tried to request to have you come on. Let me try one more time. Maybe try from your phone, Rod. See if that makes it a little different for you. I don't know. But we definitely... Hi, Amy. Good morning. How are you? All right. Rod, go ahead and come on in and say hi to me again. I'm going to see if I can add you that way. Come on in and just say hi real quick. See if that works that way. And then we'll start the show if we can. Okay? All right. Oh, you're so sweet, Amy, my lipstick girl. You are so sweet. And I love your products too, by the way. They're so wonderful, and I love your videos. So thank you for being here with me during my hour here too. Okay? All right. So let's do this. Rod, go ahead and request again. Let me see if I can add you. You know, the sun's trying to come out here, Amy. It's definitely trying to come out here. So I'm hoping for a nice day because it's such a beautiful weekend. We've got Mother's Day this weekend too, guys. So I'm excited for that. And what I'm just doing right now is trying to get my co-host to get in here with me to join us because we have a really good topic, you guys. I can't wait. Let's see if this works. Give me 1 second, guys. It says adding. Let's hope we get Rod in here to join us. Sometimes it takes a second. That's why I came on early this morning, because I wanted to make sure that we had time to play with this. Amy, how is it where you are? Is it nice weather over there too? Or what does that look like for you? Where are you located? What state? If you don't mind sharing that with me, I'd appreciate it. And Linda, I can't remember what area you're into. I'm always curious. So let's see. It's trying to add Rod. Hopefully he pops in here soon. Hi, Maria. Good morning. I see you there too. And while we're waiting for Rod, let's see if this is working. It looks like it's trying to add him. Then we'll go ahead. Let me just let you know, guys, too, that we are having a sale this weekend. It's Believe in Yourself, and it's on the Coaching Club Cafe House of Glamorgan. And yeah, check us out this weekend. We've got our coaches. Sometimes that only works from the phone, not your desktop. Oh, okay. So let's see. It's trying to add Rod. Rod, if you're on your laptop, maybe try to reach out from your phone that way. See if that works. So yes, we're having a great sale, you guys, this weekend. Believe in yourself. We believe in you. That's why we're here. All the coaches, intuitives. We've got everything. There is something for everybody, and you guys have all probably caught the show by now. The shows that we have. Yeah, Rod, if you can just try you're on the phone. Okay, try to request one more time. Let's see if it helps. So yeah, all the different shows. Like I can't always catch them during the week because I'm working. But when I can, I try and catch the replays. And I know Coach Erica is here just as I'm talking about the wonderful coaches. Here's Erica. Good morning, Christy. You're watching. Awesome. And then Rod, if you try again, it does give you the option of, of bringing them on the camera. So let's see here. Let's see, add. Okay, you guys bear with me. I'm trying to add Rod, my guest this morning. He's the guy we're going to have this morning. So let's see if we can see. It looks like it's trying to add him again. All right, Rod, let's call in those angels to help us with this technical difficulties. Archangel Michael, please help us with technical difficulties. We're trying to get our lovely Rod Penalosa in here to help us out. And Amy, you're in Maryland, huh? It's raining all weekend. The rain can be so beautiful. Like, I love rain. When you're home, you're cozy and life is good, and you can just really enjoy it. Good morning, Glam Morgan. Good to see you here this Saturday, everybody. We're going to be bringing on my guest, and I'll let you know about Rod. Hopefully it's adding him as we're speaking. And he's a dear, dear friend of mine. We've known each other for years. Rod is a healer. He's a mental health therapist. He's so intuitive, this guy. And we're going to be having him join us hopefully this morning. I'm working on that now. And we're going to be discussing the topic of anxiety and stress in basically all areas of our life. That is something that we all deal with one way or the other. And yes, it did, Amy. Actually, it did. I did see that. So hoping to bring on my guest. And it looks like for some reason on his phone, he's having technical difficulties. Let me try and add him one more time. All right, Rod, we're trying again. See what happens. Adding. I feel like I should be putting dimes in my phone or something, like old school, right? See if it comes in. He has so many good things to say, guys. Like, I was excited. I'm so excited to have him join us for this topic because there's so much with everything going on. You know, we're still in COVID and we're still having life issues and via audio. Let's see. How can you join? Can I join via audio? That's a good question. If you can or can't. Let's see here, Broadster. See what I can figure out for us here. All right. Do you have, Rod, what kind of phone do you have? Just curious. Connection failed. All right, let's see here. iPhone, you have an iPhone? Okay. Let's see. Any ideas, guys? He has an iPhone. I'm so sorry. We're trying to get Rod. iPhone 12. Look at you. Get down with your bad self, Rod. You got one of those nice phones, don't you? Let's get that phone to work. My goodness. I'm trying to think of a way. Let's see that. So weird.
There you go.
I know. Let's see. Oh my
We made
goodness. There you are. You know what's so funny? I'm like, Archangel Michael, you just helped me out here. I
Thank
need to
you
get
to the
my
angels. I think
Penalosa on the
this is really meant to
camera.
happen. So I apologize. I don't know what was
Yes.
happening, but I'm just glad that I'm able to join all.
Well, you know what? They just wanted, they just wanted to put me in the hot seat and see if I could figure out how to talk without anybody else on the camera. That's all. It's no problem. We have all these great people, and look, everybody's excited you're here. It's official.
Good morning,
Yay.
everyone.
And I was telling everybody that
Yes.
good morning. It's literally great to see you.
Great to see.
And they're excited. I was just telling everybody that we're going to be talking about, anxiety, stress, and that is your field. And I want to just tap on that a little bit. We'll keep it very simple, of course, but I think we're all kind of going through it in different aspects of our lives. And so anything this morning that's going to help us get through the bumps in life, that's really what we're touching on this morning. And so I wanted to kind of like really just start from the basics, because we're going to kind of figure out pieces a little bit later, Rod, as far as maybe we'll talk about specific areas of anxiety and stress. But the first place is really just, the question is, what is anxiety? What would you say in layman's terms? What would that look like?
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to welcome all of you beautiful, lovely folks, and thank you for joining us. I'm also a fan of my dear friend, Sandra. So, anxiety is actually a type of emotion, right? It's a feeling, but anxiety is an intense feeling of excessive fear or worry, restlessness, and a great deal of concern. And as a mental health provider and also as an empath and intuitive healer, what I usually ask folks is, how do you even identify when you're anxious versus when you're depressed, right? How do you know if you're worried or sad? How can you even detect that? And a lot of people don't realize that they really need to tune into their bodies. um, Anxiety starts in the mind, right? It's a mental state. But what we usually, most of us, everyday humans, don't really recognize that anxiety is stored in the body. And the body is really impacted by the worry, the fear, the nervousness. So, how do you identify it? Fatigue, muscular tension, pain, tightness, rapid heart rate, sweating, all of those things. And it's important for us to.
They all sound so pleasant, by the way. I'm just kidding.
Yes.
Right. But I mean, honestly, it's like red flags for our body to say, look, there's something offbeat here with you, warning, and listen to me, right?
So
Basically.
the body is the storage system, the mind is the stimulator. So the body sends messages to the mind, and the mind sends messages to the body that something doesn't feel right, that there's danger, that there's something threatening in your environment. So that can either be real or imagined. The mind doesn't care, the brain doesn't care. The brain is basically trying to protect us, which is why it's sending all those signals to the body that you need to be hyper alert, you need to be hyper vigilant, you need to be excessively worried to prepare yourself and to protect yourself.
Like it thinks it's
protecting itself.
Its job is to protect you, your body.
Yeah.
Got it. So with that said, is anxiety always
a bad
thing?
Like stress, right? Stress is not always a bad thing.
Yeah.
There are good types of stress that really can stimulate movement and action and taking precaution and taking protective measures, right? it can become an
Mm-hmm.
impediment or an impairment or a roadblock if it becomes excessive to the point that we become obsessed and preoccupied by the anxious
Mm.
experiences and feelings, and to the point of being crippled and we cannot do anything else. I think this is very fitting
Okay.
because a lot of us are intuitives. I think for those of us who tune in to the show
Mm-hmm.
at Coaching Cafe, we're empaths. We're very sensitive to what's happening
Mm-hmm.
around us.
Energy and what's
Exactly.
happening.
And
Mm-hmm.
we need to be able
For
to
sure.
identify if what we're feeling belongs to us or to somebody else's, right, experience. And we can really absorb those experiences
True.
like a sponge. So we have to be able to
Sure.
take
So
care of
true.
those things. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then, like, you mentioned, and I kind of want to go back and tap on this a little bit. And if anybody in here has a question, you're going through something, and you just want to share a thought process or something maybe that helps you with your experience with this subject, please put them in the comments. I will be checking in the comments, and we'll address those with Rod. So we were talking about, anxiety starts with the thoughts a lot, right? As you had mentioned. Um, and what about, with that in mind, how can I turn off my mind at night? At night, it's like, it's your body's going, I am so tired. I'd like to go to sleep now. And your mind is going, are you kidding me? We're just starting.
Yeah.
So you have this
Yeah.
counter of the
So
two, right? Do you
yeah,
have
how
any
do we cope,
thoughts?
right? I think it will be if the
Yeah, yeah.
assumption is to turn off the thoughts and to silence the mind, that is a huge ordeal and that can be very challenging. The goal
Mm,
is really to learn how to
sure.
sit with the stress so that we can
I
mentally,
see.
emotionally, and physically prepare ourselves to the point that when there is stress in our environment, we are not ungrounded and we are able to cope more effectively. So the best thing that
Mhm.
what I suggest to folks is that pay attention to how your body feels. When you're starting to
Okay.
identify that there's a certain level of anxiety, whether it's nervousness, worry, fear, ask yourself, where is this coming from? What's triggering this? Because usually we become so immersed in the experience that we cannot even identify what the problem is. Why is it important to identify the problem? Because
Mm,
once we identify the problem, then we can zone in on the problem, come up with a goal to resolve the problem, and then possible solutions to address the goal, right? That can essentially solve the problem. So
right.
pay attention to how your body is
Sure.
affected. Nourish the body because when the body's tension and tightness is released or relaxed, then that sends the message to the brain once again that everything is okay, at least at that particular time. So what helps?
Okay.
Slow breathing, mindful breathing exercises, diaphragmatic breathing, where you count from 1 to 10, and then pause for about 5 seconds, and then slow exhalation from 1 to 10. So do that for about 5 to 10
Okay.
minutes. If a count of 10 is too long, do it for a count of 5 or a count of 6. The goal is to really circulate the oxygen internally so that we're feeding every part of our physiological system, right? And it can really relax all the tightness in the nerves. And then also ground yourself and remind yourself that at that particular time, even though there are worries and concerns, you are actually safe. And if you're not safe, then let's find safety for you because sometimes anxiety can,
What does that look like to create that
yeah,
safety?
whatever safety looks
Switch
like
that
for you.
into that
Exactly.
safety.
Because sometimes anxiety can
Yeah.
also lead into panics and panic attacks, right? So the breathing
Mm-hmm.
exercise helps, reciting the alphabet, just to keep you centered.
Okay.
Sometimes I would get
Keep your mind kind of
grounded.
grounded.
I would
Mm-hmm.
usually just recite
Mm-hmm.
my name, my address, and breathe, and remind myself that I am in the present moment safe and that all these anxiety provoking thoughts are thoughts. They may feel real.
I mean, it's almost silly, but you could do even like a simple mantra of reciting over and over, I am completely
Absolutely.
safe.
Absolutely.
something where you're hearing yourself say it,
Mantras,
and you can say it, of
yes,
course,
mantras are really
the mantra, you
powerful.
don't have to announce it. You don't have to stand up at your desk and go, I am completely safe. I mean, you could,
Exactly.
but you know, I don't think
Yeah.
people are going to get a kick out of that one. They may not feel completely safe at that point with you, but you know, I'm just saying, you know, it's the simple things like that though, honestly, right?
Exactly, and movement. Take a walk, change your environment, get out of the house or get out of the room.
Mm-hmm.
Just to shift your perspective,
Mm-hmm.
because the mind gets so fixated when it is anxious, and it's hard to
Mm-hmm.
move when you're anxious. But what?
It's almost like you have to hit a reset
Yeah,
button,
it's a
isn't it?
reset. It's a reboot. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Interesting. All right. Well, let's talk about, kind of tapped on, you know, anxiety. Um, the two subjects kind of can't went hand in hand. So let's kind of tap on
Yeah.
stress a little bit, and it's kind of in the same spectrum of how that affects our body. You know, same lines, if we can go there, just so we get both in some
Yeah, well,
clarity
like I
on both.
said earlier, stress is not a bad thing, right? Stress is
Mm-hmm.
sort of like a compass that tells us that there's something that we need to address, there's something that we need to pay attention to, whatever that may be, like a deadline,
Okay.
or like whether something might lead to something critical and we need to be more preventive. But I
Mm-hmm.
think what I want to also
Mm-hmm.
bring to everyone's awareness is that, when we look for psychic guidance, right, like when we consult with psychics and
Yes.
intuitives, we're usually looking for information. Now if our
Mm-hmm.
attention is cluttered, if we're not able to even
Yes.
recognize the information that is in front of us, how are we going to even
Mm-hmm.
recognize the information that is coming through us or for us from the psychic consultant, right?
True.
So it's easy to be dismissive. We don't always recognize what's happening because we are just so consumed by stress and anxiety. But the more we
Mm-hmm.
take care of ourselves and the more we take care of our anxiety and practice self-care, the more our intuitions sharpen, the more we become aware and
Yes.
attuned to the informations that are coming from the angels, from the universe, from the divine guidance, from the coaches, the intuitives. There's more capacity to really discern what's coming to you, what's being offered to you, what's being given to you, and then we can receive more openly without the fear and without the distraction and clutter of anxious experiences. Which is why, I always, when I work with patients, I always tell them, because I'm also intuitive, and I'm like, we're working together
Yes.
and I'm providing you with information, but are you open to it? Or are you still swimming in the pool of anxiety? But if you take care of your body, if you take
Right.
care of your mind, like for instance, me, I'm anxious because of a particular problem. But if I take care of myself, if I
Sure.
prepare myself before I go to an intuitive coach or counselor, and then the
Yeah.
information comes up, then I am more likely to accept that information and really reflect on the information and cultivate the insights that are necessary for me to be able to move forward with that intuitive guidance.
And I think also with that said, you're able to hear it
Yes.
clearly, the information that's being
Yeah.
shared with you. I think, you know, it's like getting rid of the dirt around you, you know, it's muddy and you can't see or feel. But in that space, like where you take that self-care or do what you need to do to kind of get the stress or the anxiety down, you're more open to receive that
Mhm.
information, and it's helpful in that aspect,
Yes. Yes.
right? Yeah. So I had a question, I think in here, it's hard to see on my screen here, but I think basically the question is with this subject is when you're around, if you are sensitive, intuitive, empathic, and you are around someone whose emotions, you're actually, maybe they're anxious or they're feeling very stressed on a daily basis. Maybe you're in a work environment and you're there with them all the time, and you're being impacted by those emotions, and you're feeling it taking on, let's say, the anxiety or the stress. Any information that would be helpful for this person? They have crystals, it sounds like, and they ask their angels for protection, but anything else that you could add to that to help them out
Yeah,
here?
yeah. Especially if it's in the workplace environment, my suggestion would be to do a diligent daily ritual before coming to work in the morning to start your day. So number one,
Okay.
clear your energy, ground yourself. Breath work is good. Meditation is really good. Reaching out to you know, the divine or the ascended spiritual guides, whoever you
Yes.
feel is going to be able
Yeah.
to support you, and really prepare your mental, emotional, and physical body. I always do a grounding exercise of filling myself with white light and projecting that white light
Yeah, I
like,
agree.
probably 10 feet all around me so that it's impenetrable, right? The stress is not
Yeah.
going to go away, especially we have no control over how other people interact or engage with us, right? We can only control.
And we're constantly doing it throughout the day. You're absolutely
Exactly. We can
right.
only manage how we respond to somebody else's, toxicity. So that is an example.
Right.
And then throughout the day, continue to ground yourself because we can easily be ungrounded, and then at the end of the day,
Hmm.
detox. So what I mean by detox is change your clothes, take a bath, do some cleansing, wash your hands.
Take a nice
Yeah, take a nice
shower.
shower.
Yeah, whatever
Don't
helps you.
jump from
Hmm.
your job responsibilities to your household responsibilities immediately. Make sure to make time for yourself first so that you can be
Hmm.
at a mental space at home where you feel safe, and able to really unwind and relax and rejuvenate. Okay. So it's really all about self care,
Yes.
you know. Yeah.
Okay. Lots of
Hmm.
self-care, right? Yes. And I'm trying to read Linda's. Can you see Linda Briley's comment in
I
there,
can't.
Rod?
It went by so fast.
People or person online and use it's like there's I think with the blinds it's hard for me to read um to complain so it gets toxic. She's basically saying yeah that it can get toxic if you're around somebody who's complaining all the time. And so I think it's just a reminder that this talking about this topic today is a reminder for us to do everything in our power because we have our own stress and it's important for us to know how to deal with that. So what I heard you saying too was, we're talking about getting a distraction from the stress, getting grounded, um, checking in with yourself to say that you're safe, right?
Yes.
And just feeling better and healthier and
Eating
maybe
better.
eating healthier, whatever
Yeah.
that
Avoiding
takes.
caffeine. This
Walking.
is hard for most of us,
Uh-huh.
but really,
I'm sorry, what did you say? No, I'm
it's
just
really hard
kidding.
for many of us. But
At least,
caffeine is
yeah,
anxiety inducer, to be quite honest, because it can get you
true.
jittery and nervous. And a lot of people assume that caffeine can really give you the energy boost that you need. And that's partially true. But at the end of the day, it can really get you so nervous and easily activated. And also, Linda,
That's true.
set your boundaries. You have the power to set
Yes,
your
those good old
boundaries. You can
boundaries,
always say
huh?
no. You don't need to say, no, I don't need to speak to you. Mentally, you can just say, I give you my love. I send you love. I send you healing because you obviously need it. But I
Hmm.
am putting myself out of this situation because for my highest good. So you can have those kinds of affirmation to remind you daily that you deserve to be in a healthy, safe space. And also be intentional. Start your day by saying, I would like to create a peaceful, joyful world for myself today.
Don't you guys love this guy? I mean, we're not going to let you go. Now that you're on camera, you're stuck. I'm so sorry, Rod, but that's how it is today. Okay. But I was looking in the comments here, and someone's also mentioning that they use prayers throughout the day
Yeah.
to help them, and that is so important too. It's really very powerful, very simple. You do it however it feels good to you to say your words that are prayers for yourself or for someone else. But yeah, if that's what gets you through the day, it's really about what works for you,
Correct.
correct, Rod?
I pray. I pray and meditate at the same time. It really keeps me not only grounded, but it makes me feel safe. You can also hold on to an object that feels sacred to you and keep it in your pocket so that when you're
Mm-hmm.
starting to feel triggered and anxious, you can just reach out to that object. You don't need to take it out of your pocket, hold on to it, and recite your mantra, whatever that means. For me, I really like taking responsibility for myself. So I always start with myself with the intention of projecting that sense of peace and joy to everybody else. But we need to prioritize ourselves, to be quite honest.
Absolutely, yes. And that object doesn't necessarily have to be your wallet, by the way, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Just saying, just kidding. But yeah, whatever that looks like. I mean, I think somebody had mentioned too, like even just a simple anchor of some sort, like a crystal or, the
Cross,
cross, whatever
rosary,
that. You could have it in
yeah.
your pocket, in your jacket. You could wear it. It could be a necklace, a pendant, something that anchors you back into your space. I know for myself, yesterday I had to go I don't normally take breaks and I'm guilty of that, but yesterday I did get myself out to get some fresh air for about 10 minutes and walked around a little bit because I was in that moment, just like you were talking about, where I was feeling a sense of, oof, I need to breathe, and I need to remind myself that this is my choice. It's an illusion right now that I am so wrapped up in this space,
Yes.
right? And I did that, and it did help. It helped me to unplug from the energy that I was sitting in at that moment, and then come back to me so I could come back to be better at what I was
Yeah,
doing.
brilliant.
So how
That's
about you
brilliant.
guys? Yeah, it does, right? Anything like that helps. Any last ideas? I want to kind of close this up a little bit so we can have time for some readings a little bit. And I did want to share a piece as well.
I believe, I can't emphasize this anymore. Make sure to take really, really good care of yourself. Whatever you're experiencing, whether it's anxiety, whatever emotion it may be that's, stressful to you,
Mhm.
ask yourself, is
Sure.
this real? It may seem real, but is this really happening? Because just because it's real or it feels real doesn't mean it's true, right? It can be real
True.
but imagined,
Yeah.
and
The mind is so
the
powerful,
mind
isn't
can
it?
be your greatest
So
ally
powerful.
or greatest enemy, but its job is really to try to protect you. So always ask yourself, what I'm
Yeah.
feeling right now, is this true? Or am I imagining it because of something that's foreseeably can happen? Because if it's not true and you are really safe, then you are safe, and then you can reframe your thoughts. But the breath work is really easy.
Sure.
Diaphragmatic breath, slow, deep inhalation and exhalation. Okay.
And how many times would you do that? Just a few times, like in your, your space,
As
just to kind of
often as you need to.
switch?
I saw a comment that says those feelings can get amplified. They get amplified when you start to ruminate, because when you're fixated on those
Yeah.
thoughts, you can really spiral into higher levels of anxiety. And that's why you need to not avoid it, but as soon as you recognize and acknowledge what's happening, do something to stop the negative self talk, and take care of the body. Please take care of the
Hmm.
body so that the mind doesn't sense that there's any threat or danger around you.
Hmm.
Unless, of course, there's threat and danger,
Absolutely.
then ask for help, right? Support.
Then it's a totally
Mhm.
different game. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I thank you for that
You.
subject. And if anybody wants to add their comments, please continue to do so because we've got some
Mm.
time here. So it's wonderful. I want to take a minute and acknowledge all the beautiful mothers in this room. And God, you're all so special and beautiful. And so I thought I would love to. We always throw a little meditation in here, a little prayer. But today there's a piece like it just came to mind this morning, Rod. I thought, man, I've got to share this with you guys. It's very simple, but it's very powerful, and it's a piece that I wrote back in 2010, probably since we've known each other, Rod. I think that's about the
Yeah.
window of time that we got to
Yeah.
know each other. And it's called Mother Within. So this is going to be a little wrapped up words, and I want you guys just to take them in. Think about your moms, think about yourselves, your daughters, and for you guys in here about your moms. And please, Rod, send your mom my love this
So
Mother's
thank
Day
you. I'm
too.
gonna go.
Okay.
I'm
So
gonna continue to be online, but I'm gonna leave the video so that the attention will be on. Okay.
yeah,
Thank you,
absolutely.
everyone.
And then Rod, in the back, do me a favor. In the back, you've got blinds. Can you close those a little bit? So I think the comments
Will
are
do.
like a little
I will
hard to
do.
see,
I'm actually.
and that would be
I'm
helpful.
gonna turn off my video so that you don't have to see the.
Okay, come back.